2 of the No Holds Barred Special Edition Seinfeld Chronicles. I'm JT. That's Aaron. Joining us as always on not as always. Joining me as always
for the first time.
but probably a bunch going forward because he's a Seinfeld maniac. Is our buddy Keithy. Keith, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Thank you for having me. I am a Seinfeld maniac.
You are.
I know
we have a lot of shows in
show.
common. We got Seinfeld, we got Sopranos, Breaking Bad guy.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, okay. So
you've got all the most popular shows of all time in common.
Yes.
Yeah. The ones that everybody has in common.
Not everyone.
Okay?
Did you watch Better Call Saul?
Did you watch True Blood?
I did not watch True Blood.
I watched it at the time.
That was a great show at the time.
It wasn't until it just went too far.
It did, but I like that my ex-wife and I used to watch it, and it was like, sexy time would happen after that because she was really into what's his name, Joey
Lawrence,
Joe Mazzarozzolo there or whatever, the one that was in the one that was the werewolf there.
And then she has you, and it's a big letdown.
Well, I don't know. I got some werewolf vibes coming out.
Hey, man, she used to have a thing for the commish. Remember Michael Chiklis? Was
all right. That's all right.
So she used to have
She's got a type. She's got a type.
She had a type, and I was her type for a little while.
Werewolf bar mitzvah.
Yeah.
It's funny. We're eventually going to hit the commish watching Seinfeld.
Yes, we are.
Yes.
We'll make sure you're there for that one so you could relive your marriage.
He's probably going to be on all of them.
I know. Seriously. I mean, what am I doing?
Unless you not being on these. All right. Let's. We're going to do season 1, episode 2 tonight. The Stakeout aired on May 31st, 1990.
Jesus Christ.
22.5 million viewers. So it seems like a good word of mouth from the year before.
Shitty pilot.
Yeah, I mean that was a year later, right? And it's a 7 million increase in viewers. So.
Was there a big lead in?
We already went over all this. I'm not gonna do it all again, but
well, I mean, for like a 7 million viewer jump is a lot, right?
Yeah, it's a year later, so I'm thinking maybe it was just some word of mouth over the year before. I don't know.
You said what was the day? May what?
May 31st, 1990. I'm looking.
So there was probably like a big finale that took place like right before it.
Might have been
like a Cheers finale or something. Oh no, they weren't on Thursdays at first. They were on Wednesdays, right?
Because otherwise your hypothesis is that people were waiting for a year. Like
not waiting, it's just that they heard it was pretty good.
Remember that show that aired one time a year ago?
Night Court was the lead-in.
Oh, what a good show.
That's good.
So it must have been maybe a Night Court. Maybe it was the finale. I don't know.
Yeah. You had mentioned that Pete would have known what was going on that night. If Pete was here, he would know. That was the Night Court finale of season 5.
The Night Court finale, yeah.
Where Bull had to jump off, had to keep Roz from jumping off the top of the roof.
That was weird when Roz killed herself in the court. That was a really strange episode.
Not the new one?
No, well, she slit her wrists in the middle of the court. Harry Anderson was like,
have you watched the new one yet?
I watched the first episode of the new one.
I had a couple of you tell me they really liked it, and then I saw some people crapping on it.
I gotta watch the second episode. I'm giving it a good shot because, of course, I love Night Court and I love John Larroquette, and
concept. I feel like it's a concept that doesn't age. Like it's a unique concept. It's not like they did a nighttime court thing on other shows all those years after. Like it's still a cool premise,
Yeah.
It could be like it could last as long as Judge Judy. If that's lasted that long, a comedic version should last long enough.
Absolutely. All right, let's dive in. We are all on Netflix, so I'm going to count us in here in 3, 2, 1, play. This is my first question. So Jerry starts this comedic bit by saying, "I am online." I feel like that's a New York thing. Aaron, do you say inline or online?
What are we talking about?
Like I'm standing in line. New Yorkers say I'm standing online.
No,
never, right?
You would never say that. In line is the roller skates that are one wheel in front of the other.
What do you say, Keith? In line, right?
Probably in line, yeah.
Online's like New York says online.
Yeah. Aaron, you don't use the Q, right? I know that's a British thing, but did it carry over?
No, we have the letter Q in Canada.
No, I'm going to Q. We're going to Q into this line.
Oh, no, we don't talk
don't do that Q? Okay.
No. We're French. It's like des Christ tabarnak.
Oui, yes.
Jerry's jacket is
I feel like we should be rating Jerry's outfits.
Jerry's jacket it looks like that foam insulation that you use in like a recording booth.
The tie as well.
Oh God, the tie. Oh,
he's doing the check bit, eh?
yeah.
What's the deal with the chicks and the checks?
I have money. It's right here.
It's funny that he's so out on checks already. Like, I feel like checks are still pretty big in the 90s. Like, I remember, I was working cashier at a supermarket in like 98, 99, and people will still use checks like all the time to pay for groceries.
Have you ever paid for anything with a check? Like in a store?
No, not in a store. Obviously, big stuff you do.
Yeah, not in years. Last time I wrote a check in a store, it was for big things. I think I was, putting money down for a sofa.
Right. It's not that's a big purchase, but you're not buying, milk and writing a check.
No, but you know what? I did used to when I first moved out of my mother's house and I had to buy groceries myself and I didn't have a debit card or I didn't have I don't know what I had. I used to do it on, it would be I get paid on Friday, so I'd go food shopping on Thursdays and write the check knowing it won't get cashed until tomorrow.
Right.
Well, it's funny because that's the first debit card. It's funny you mentioned debit card. It's really the same thing. We never connect it that way, but that's what it is.
Yeah. This episode, they're in the great thing about this is they're in the video store, but do you notice that there's an adults only and it's sitting right behind Jerry?
Oh, that's crazy.
And I think when I was watching this one time on Comedy Central, I paused and I was looking and I want to say that there is it's like porno movies, which I found really funny because I worked in several video stores, but I worked in a West Coast video when I was in college, and the summer I worked there, my job was to set up the porn tapes for people to come in and rent. So
were they in the back room? You
got
to go through the beads.
Absolutely, we had a beaded curtain.
Yeah, that's how they always were for us. They were always behind the secret room in the back.
When I was a teenager. Oh, go on, Keith.
Oh no, and I was gonna say the big thing was when somebody would come back because it was still tapes, they would say, "Oh, this tape is broken," and we would give them a free rental, but we didn't have a VCR in the back to check the tape. The only VCR we had played all throughout the store, so we used to have to bring them home and watch them.
Oh, what a shame! What a horrible shame.
We used to have to bring them home.
I used to have to bring them home.
How often was the problem just come on the tape?
Several. No, usually it was just
the VCR.
No, usually it was when it was cum shots or the finale shot. It was that started to
wear out
because people were probably they were rewinding it constantly to look at the freaking money shot.
So Jerry and Elaine at this point, have they established that they're dating? They dated?
I don't know if they said it in that scene, but I think we'll get to it.
Not in that scene, but it's in this scene it's coming up because obviously Jerry has the whole thing with the girl,
right?
And then, or actually, is it really they kind of establish it? I think at the end, because there's that weird end of the episode.
Yeah. Well, I'm curious how the endings evolved because episode 1 the pilot had a terrible ending.
Yeah,
you didn't even know it was ended. You know what I mean?
I was listening. You guys were
I was like, oh, this is it.
Wait, what happened? It's just over.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it was over already.
It's over. It's over, Johnny.
Now, is Jerry massively underdressed for this event compared to everybody else?
I would say so.
Did he not know?
Maybe he's wearing the same.
I think so.
He's wearing the exact same costume he wore in the first episode, by the way. That red shirt with that beige jacket. I'm fine with the jacket. I accept that people wear the jackets over and over, but I know he's got more shirts.
Well, this could be. It's a year later.
Although
you don't wear a shirt year apart.
You know what? Jerry's outfits don't really change that much throughout the course of the show. Did you notice? He kind of wears the same clothes over and over again.
I'll be curious how often he wears the pajamas like he had on last episode. The orange and blue sweatshirt and sweatpants.
I don't think those come back at all, actually, unless he wears them I don't know, because I think even in any other episodes where he's in pajamas, they're regular real adult pajamas.
Right. Well, the nightcap.
So, they're doing this voice thing in Jerry's head.
Yeah.
I'm really glad they stopped doing this.
Right. I think there's a lot of things these shows do as concept and then realize the concept doesn't work and just go to standard format. On 90210, that Tim and I do, the first season has a lot of that stuff. Brenda has these vivid dream sequences that we see and stuff. I feel like they try and do some outside the box stuff, and then they realize okay, this is I don't know if this was meant to be a gimmick where we would always hear what's in Jerry's head, or is it just this one scene? But it's right because he's clearly trying to and this is a good running bit. Segment Bennett, Robin's up and over tough, where he's trying to flirt with this girl, but Elaine just keeps interrupting him and basically cock blocking him.
Yeah, she's totally cock blocking him.
I'm curious how they do this in front of the studio audience. Do they have it play over the loudspeaker, or is the laughter all just fake?
I think it's fake for that part.
Yeah, I feel like this is one of those like scenes that they film like on location somewhere.
Right. They might have just put applause up,
because this doesn't look like a set. Like this actually looks like they went to like a restaurant somewhere and just rented out a back room.
You think they rented out that piano player?
Don't they show maybe they show it on a screen in front of the audience when they're doing the other scenes and have them react in the moment? They could be playing it back.
Yeah, because like this is, although I don't know, would this be? This is probably a set, right?
The car.
Yeah,
I don't know,
because you can kind of tell like how like you see Elaine and Jerry kind of bouncing with the car. Like that doesn't happen in real life.
Is Larry David shaking it in the back?
Oh, I'm gonna shake
it. How does it bounce like that? It is an interesting looking cab too. At first I thought it was supposed to be like a limo with that color scheme, but it's not shaped like a limo.
I know that doesn't look like a cab to me. Any of the cabs I've been in, but
now of the women involved so far, Jerry should be going after Elaine right away, right?
Oh yeah.
Well, you get the vibe that they did. She probably ended it, and now he's like just trying to move on. That's the vibe I get here.
Right.
Although she's not acting like she's moved on. She's like clearly trying to get him to pay attention to her.
Yeah, she seems desperate for his attention.
Either way, both women already are big upgrades over episode 1. Like right out of the gate. Like,
oh yeah.
See, I think I went back and I typed in the woman's name and hot into Google, and there's some racy images.
Are you of her friend, of his friend Laura, or of Lee Garlington?
No, of the woman with the short hair who stays at his house.
Okay. Because I don't think
I had to know.
I don't think Lee Garlington has ever been sexy or hot or racy or anything like that. She's kind of like the typical, like when you see her as a waitress, that's what she is in real life as a waitress.
I would still take her over that blonde in episode.
I found her. It took me 2 seconds. I found Lee Garlington nude. Now she's a cadaver getting dissected.
Oh, all right.
But naked nonetheless.
Okay. All right, we got Seinfeld's parents. Here we go.
Yeah. Here's a question. Why did he have to move the couch over?
Maybe there wasn't enough room to open the other way.
Oh.
Yeah, I could buy that.
Now the apartment's a little bit more formed. We got rid of the sky, like the glass above.
Yeah.
The cabinets are no longer the Florida look. It's a little more modern.
He's got a cactus back there, and that's the only plant this man could ever keep alive, I'm sure, is that cactus.
He's got the computer station too now, this is an early adopter of a computer, like 1990. That's early to have a home computer.
I like that he's asking his dad, like about like at these law firms, do you know anybody? And makes it seem like his dad is like a retired lawyer,
right?
And then you find out later that he sold fucking raincoats.
He's just a man about town. So we do have Liz Sheridan, the mom, is already established, of course, from Alf, of course.
Yes,
her previous work.
Yeah,
is she Alf? That's Alf.
She was Alf. Yeah,
well, she was the neighbor in Alf, right?
Oh, yeah, she was the neighbor.
Yeah, that's not really Alf. Like she didn't play Alf.
You got to get used to her and stupid.
She's got the nose to be Alf.
You get used to a stupid.
So that was.
It was meant to be ill-advised.
Yes. Oh, good.
You're supposed to just ignore them.
That's what I give him 2, and then I move on after that.
Okay.
But the dad is not the dad we know to come and love in future episodes.
I hate this man, and I hope he dies.
I'm pretty sure.
I mean, what are we doing?
Pretty sure he's dead now.
He looks a little like the dad in Christmas Story.
You think I can find a nude picture of him?
We're close with this shirt.
Absolutely. I think he's, you know what? He's the guy that's in Return of the Living Dead 2 that I think fucks everything up and brings all the zombies back.
Oh my God.
I think so.
Okay. It's not. So I put in Philip Burns nude just to see. And it says the first headline was, who was Philip Burns? Man 36 accidentally hangs himself while trying to scare his fiance.
Not this guy.
No.
Someone is definitely, I don't know if the Canadian government works like the U.S. government, but your computer's about to get taken in for evidence.
It's been long flagged. All right.
Justin Trudeau is coming to your house to take your laptop.
This guy is a very big character actor. He's been
Yeah, you could tell.
Bonnie Miller, the Jeffersons, the Stuntman, MASH, Night Court. It was an episode of Night Court, so he's dead. He died in 2012.
I love how his mom is
2012.
His mom is busting his balls.
That's a good run. So I mean, that's like 22 years after this.
Seriously, he's 100 years old in this episode.
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty good run. If you told me he died in 1992, I would have believed it.
Yeah. I love how his mom is chastising him for hanging out with Elaine. How could you do that? You broke up with her.
Jerry's mother.
He broke up with her then. Is that what they're establishing here?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, I think he said that they just didn't, it wasn't it. Like they just didn't have it.
Right.
I don't know how you don't have it with friggin' Julia Louis-Dreyfus, but okay.
And then hope for waitress Laura. He's got a pretty good stereo system back there too for 1990. I think we've established now, maybe like in that first episode, remember we questioned whether he was successful based on his apartment and the way he looked. But now we got a computer. He's dressed a little bit better. We got a nice stereo system.
Yeah.
I also get the impression he didn't buy that computer to use it. He bought it to have it.
Status.
Hey, everybody's getting computers. Okay.
Yeah, I gotta get one.
You don't think he was using it to write bits? You think he's still writing bits down by hand?
Yeah, because he find out later he's got a pad, right?
And that's
he
true.
Looks for the book.
Yeah, well,
So the story is their stake. He can't find this woman he met at the dinner. So now him and George are staking out a law firm.
Yeah, the law firm that she said. She gave the name of the law firm, so they're just hanging out in the lobby, hoping to run into her.
Yeah.
At least George doesn't have the fedora on or whatever he had on last.
The little cabbie cap. Oh, first architect mention here.
Yep.
Right out of the gate.
He's an architect, yeah. So what he always wanted to be.
Seth Rollins.
When you guys were mentioning, last episode about him being like Woody Allen at first, he looks like Woody Allen, like kind of right here, like the way he's dressed. He does like Woody Allen would wear like that kind of tweed jacket.
Well, wouldn't Larry David too? I feel like Larry David is actually kind of similar to Woody, like
he's closer to Woody Allen, but he's crazier and not creepy.
The only picture I've ever seen of Larry David from this time frame is when he has the massive like Jufro going, and you're just like, wow, good for you, Larry David.
Well, it was cool reading that Wikipedia thing the last episode where like he tried to convince Jerry to like we're out of ideas. Imagine the show just ended after season 1.
Well, I think
how different everything would be.
And Larry David's life is funny too because he bombed as a stand-up because he was a stand-up. So he's
fighting the audience.
All the comedians in the back of the bar would be dying at his jokes, and everybody in the audience is going, "What the fuck is this guy talking about?
Why is he chastising us for being here? Not just for being here. He's
angry. Just imagine a world though with no Seinfeld or Curb would be awful.
What the hell are you out on a Saturday night for? What's wrong with you people?"
So that was a great little back and forth too that gets called back later where they're debating over the importing exporting. That comes back way later, the importer exporter.
And we get the Art Cordelay.
And now it's Vandelay.
Vandelay, yeah.
I thought it was Corvelay.
First mention of Art Vandelay. Iconic.
What's the name of that place behind him? Cody's Coffee Shop. There you go.
Cody's Coffee Shop.
I feel like Cody, that's a progressive name for 1990. I feel like Cody came later. I guess Code Man on Step by Step. You had him.
I know a guy a few years younger than me named Cody.
Yeah? Well, yeah, the younger is okay, but someone that owned a coffee shop in 1990 to be named Cody had to be in his 20s at least.
Do you think Toby is a name for a person or a dog?
Neither. It should be neither. It's an awful name.
I guess a dog at that point.
Yeah.
You don't want to name
or a man or a woman. It's even worse. There are women named Toby.
Oh, there is.
Yeah, I know more women and dogs named Toby than men.
The only Toby that should be Toby is Toby from The Office because that perfectly encapsulates his character as a loser.
Toby.
No, God, no.
I never could understand. I was actually thinking about that this morning. Why, like Andy hated Toby, and like I didn't like that. I guess I was gonna let Michael hate Toby and be okay with it. But then, like when Jim became a manager and he started to hate Toby, and then like
you don't think it's just a natural like HR adversarial thing?
When have you? I don't know. I mean, usually in my businesses that I've worked in, HR is pretty okay with managers.
Yeah,
you know.
I guess I don't know. For me, it's such a whatever. All right, so we got Jerry and his mom playing Scrabble.
He is. So I was playing dominoes with my son earlier tonight, And that exact face when he goes, "Oh, I made a bunch of times when I was just waiting for him to make a move."
Did you slam down at the end and go domino, motherfucker? Like that?
We started. That's how we started the session.
Nice.
So we did most 90s. Right out of the gate would be her using the dictionary for Scrabble, like the old school giant dictionary.
Yep.
Kramer right away. No reference to Kessler. Keith, do you remember that whole thing about how he was supposed to be a shut-in? Had you ever heard that? Like,
I did. It's
early...
explained. It's explained in the first episode, I think.
Yeah. No, it wasn't that clear when we were watching it, but
no.
But I think he was that changed very fast. That changed really fast because he immediately, like by this episode, he's a man about town. You know.
Well, in Problem Child when it came out, so now he's like a little bit bigger of a star as well than he was probably when they made the first one.
Yeah,
that hadn't come out yet.
And you guys, and while you were talking about him in UHF, I was going Stanley Spadowski, Stanley Spadowski. I was screaming at the YouTube channel, Stanley Spadowski. His name was Stanley Spadowski.
What's more memorable, Stanley Spadowski or Margot from National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation?
Margot.
It depends on who you ask.
It's Margot. Margot's
it's Margot because of that one scene. Why is the carpet all wet, Todd? But
I don't know.
In my circle of friends, it's probably Stanley Spadowski because we all fucking loved UHF.
It's a great movie.
I have a buddy who he would leave voicemails on our phones of the Spatula City, and it would just be that whole commercial. It's such a great movie.
But Stanley isn't on any ugly Christmas sweaters, and Margot is.
No,
so that's
Margot is. Yeah.
You're in Target, you can see a Margot Christmas sweater. You're not seeing a Stanley Christmas sweater.
Do you think you could fit a Christmas tree inside Stanley? Because that is the threat made to Margot.
He's about the height. To quone somebody.
To quone somebody. I'm gonna have to challenge that. And then Kramer's like, no, shut the fuck up, man.
To quone something. You're definitely getting like Kramer is Kramer now. Like right out of the gate. He's eating the salad out of his fridge. Like
Tupperware.
He's confident in his delivery. It's quone. He's not like weird.
Although I love the last one where he comes in looking for meat.
Yeah, that was good.
Any meat? Got any meat?
So you're telling me they turn this couch back around every night that they're sleeping over there? They reset the couch. Was
way too heavy. Yeah, there's no way the dad is moving that couch with Jerry.
I mean, that couch looks like it could be just a futon for all we know.
I think it is. Yeah. Maybe the plug-in cable is only on this side, so like they have to turn it back to watch TV. Now, no, they were watching it before. Who
are all these people in the house? This is family.
It's his family. They're going to a wedding. That's the whole.
Oh yeah.
And he invited Elaine, so now it's like awkward because Elaine's going to the wedding with him.
And of course, missing is Uncle Leo, which just sucks.
Hello,
Jerry.
When's he come in? It's not for a while, right?
Oh
no, he's in the one where they
He's in the one when they go to Nana's house, and the one with the
when they go to Florida.
I had the pony.
No, right, and then the one they go to Florida, he's there when the
when
dad
Jerry
runs for re-election or whatever, and that's pretty early. That's like season 2 or 3, I think.
Yeah.
Right?
God, I forgot that this is like already over. This episode.
It moves quick. Oh, here's Levine. That's right. I brought the wagon. Did you ever own a wagon?
I never have.
No. Station wagon?
No.
Or like your family? Like, did you ever have like a family wagon?
No,
I never had one.
My mother had a Chevy Celebrity Eurosport. It was a little sedan. That's what she drove. My dad
always had Jeeps.
My dad had a Caprice Classic. This thing was a tank. It was like a 2-door tank. It was awesome.
Artie Levine.
Yeah,
I have a friend named Eric Levine. I always make that joke in my head. I never say it to him because I don't know if he'd get it, but I always do the Levine joke in my own head when I say him.
John Cougar Mellencamp.
He's just wondering why you're going quiet around him all the time.
I'm like wait a minute, Levine. All right, now we're back.
You're like this.
More like Eric Levine.
So Elaine has an amazing chin.
She's perfect. There's like nothing wrong with her. In
Best chin in the business.
I mean, there's not many women who get hotter as they get older.
Yeah.
And Julia Louis-Dreyfus definitely got hotter as she got older. And did nothing, I think, cosmetically.
How many TV stars have had 3? I never watched Christine, but I know it's like well regarded.
Oh yeah.
How many actresses or actors in TV have had 3 of that level of successful, beloved character? I mean like
Bill Cosby. Sure he did. Ted Danson.
Danson's up there.
Ted Danson's up there, yeah. I would say No, Julia Louis-Dreyfus she's the only female. I mean, I don't think there's any female actresses that have had multiple.
Katie Seagal?
Yeah, she's up there.
Yeah, I guess she is up there because I think she's even being well regarded on the Connors now.
And she was
in the Connors?
Yeah, she's like Dan's new wife.
She's the new Roseanne?
Yeah.
What other show was I watching?
Well, she was in the 8 Simple Rules.
Sons
of Anarchy.
No, Malcolm in the Middle. Not Malcolm. What was the other one she's in?
Married with Children.
No, but wasn't there another one? Not Malcolm in the Middle.
8 Simple Rules for
there's even another one I thought she was in. That's like
Sons of Anarchy.
Wait, there was another like sitcom that she was in?
I thought so.
Yeah,
but then she was also the mother in something recently. What the hell was I watching? She was like in prison. Oh, Dead to Me or
Dead Like Me.
Dead Like Me. The one with Christina Applegate.
Yeah.
Dead to Me.
Yeah, Dead to Me. Yeah,
she's in that.
Oh yeah, she is in that.
And she's also in Sons of Anarchy. I don't know if you guys are aware of that.
Yeah.
I didn't heard.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, she is, and she's good.
I thought she was in another like a Malcolm in the Middle type show. I guess not.
I
don't know what I'm thinking of. Maybe is there a woman that looks like her?
I'm like looking. Well, I mean, it's not. You're not talking about Jane Krakowski, are you?
No.
Oh, Jane Krakowski's
not Jane Krakowski. Jane Kasmerick.
Maybe that's
who was in Malcolm in the Middle.
No, I may have thinking of that. She's also in she's the voice in Futurama, which is another big episode.
Yes.
Show.
Yeah.
Yes. So I guess Katie Seagal's Katie Seagal's on that list.
That's a good one. She's up there.
I met her once. She's a smoke show in real life.
She was good in Shameless too.
Yeah.
But she does a lot of stuff, whereas Julia only does like she's like 3. Julia's hit rate is immaculate.
Yeah.
Right? Did she do anything besides those 3? Did she have another one in between Christine and Seinfeld? Because they all tried one right after, right? Was there another one she did?
Yeah, I think yes, she did. She had a show that it's funny. It came out around the same time as 24. So it was like, I forget what it was called, but it was like the premise of it was that it was supposed to take place in real time. And they had like a little clock in the corner that was like, going.
Well, they all had like a failed show after, right?
Yeah, and that
George was like Bob, whatever the heck it was. He was like a detective.
Watching Ellie.
Yes, watching Ellie, and that was her failed show. And then she was the blind lawyer on Arrested Development.
That's right. She was good in that.
Maggie Lizer?
Yeah, she was great in that.
So fucking good.
George had the failed show, and Kramer had the failed show. And Jerry's the only one who didn't do one. It was like right after Seinfeld ended, they all started like in the next year.
Yeah. You know who had no failed shows? Bill Cosby.
Just a failed look.
Cosby, I Spot. What was the
Cosby Mysteries?
Didn't he have
the Cosby Mysteries? Yeah.
Fat Albert, Cosby Show, Cosby.
Cosby Kids. I don't know. Was that one? Wasn't there another one? Cosby Kids?
No, he had
Court TV a lot.
He had he had the ones where he was doing what you see, what your kid says is so stupid. We're gonna laugh at it.
Oh right, yeah. Kids say the darndest things, whatever.
Kids say the goddamnest things, like this one saying I touched him inappropriately.
Kids say the creepiest things. All right, let's get through some more fun facts, and then we'll do our categories. So debuts: Elaine, Helen, Morty.
Did either of you actually watch any of the episode we just watched?
Yeah,
nothing happened. It was a nothing episode.
Right, great.
Well, it was almost like a reintroduction to the characters.
Well, just to let you know, I put it on my phone and I was watching it on my phone.
I was watching it too, but I don't recall anything I just saw.
Yeah, it was a reintroduction of the characters. It was to set up Jerry and Elaine have an awkward ex relationship. We've met Jerry's parents. George is set up as the friend. Kramer's the wacky neighbor. Like that was it. Nothing else even happened. Like in the episode, that was it.
Right.
All right. Simon Bennett, Robin's Up on Our Taft. We said that was a memorable moment. The debut of Art Vandelay from Art Corvallis. First mention of architect. First use of importer exporter. Quone. That was a good one. Also, the first time we weren't noticing because we kind of got sidetracked at the end, but it was the first time Jerry's friends or family try and give him a comic routine idea. What his cousin at the end was trying to pitch him an idea there at the apartment, and that becomes like a running idea, a joke too. And then Morty had a great quote. He goes, "You should be glad I wasn't so particular," when they were talking about Jerry being too particular or something like that. Such a douche line. Odd fun facts: Elaine and Jerry's past relationship was the first time, and then Jerry has a pull-out bed in his studio apartment. All right, best character in this one. Again, we weren't watching as closely as we did the first time, but I mean, I would say Elaine. I think seemed like she came off the best.
I agree.
I think George. I mean, like I thought he did a lot with like limited screen time.
He was good in that one. That's who you went with in the article, Aaron. I went with Jerry the first time.
See, I found Jerry super whiny in this one.
Oh, that'll be continued on.
Yeah.
All right. Best storyline. It really was just the one. I mean, I guess it's the Stakeout, right?
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, it was either that or you could do hit Jerry's mother trying to use Quone.
Ethical dilemma.
Jerry's mother trying to use Quone.
I went with Jerry asking Elaine for Vanessa's number. Like, should she have done that? That's what I went with last time. I guess that holds up. You know, like
that holds up.
His dad said it. Your friends, just ask her. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But deep down, they all know they're not like. Do you stay friends with that ex comfortable enough to like get dating advice from them? Like, I get staying friends, but
well, they kind of made it too like they stayed friends mainly because of this wedding coming up too, in a way. Like they were friends, but it wasn't like they weren't like they become where they're like inseparable friends. Right. Relationship scale. I thought Jerry and Vanessa had a little bit of chemistry in a couple scenes, but not a ton going on. All right. So out of 10, I think we went 3 on the first one. Aaron, we both went 4 in the written article.
Sure.
I think that seems all right. I mean, a little below average, but better than the first one.
It's funny. I think when we're rating these early ones, it's like this is like if you compare it to other sitcoms, it's probably like a 5. Right. But if you're comparing it to the rest of the Seinfeld catalog, which I guess you should, it's substantially lower. So a 3. Like it's not a terrible episode of television. I think it's a good episode of television. Yeah. I don't think it's a good Seinfeld episode.
Right.
I feel like it was specifically written to reintroduce everybody because the pilot was filmed.
It's a redone pilot.
Yeah.
And I had made a note, which I think, I don't know if I feel like it holds up, that you're trying to play out Jerry and Elaine's relationship, but I actually thought Vanessa and Jerry had enough chemistry that it almost left you wanting to see where they progress potentially. Like, I almost feel like they should have had someone unlikable that Jerry was kind of into, like maybe just like physically attractive, but kind of like annoying.
Yeah.
So you want to see him and Elaine. Like, I didn't leave this feeling like I wanted to see him and Elaine because that felt awkward to me. I almost left this saying I want to see if Laura falls for the stakeout and if they go out on a date.
I think I was just so off put by Jerry's whining that I want to see him die alone.
Okay.
Very high probability of that. All right. So hopefully everyone enjoyed this, and we're going to continue on our trek whenever we get time to throw a couple of these on and run through them. Check out everything at the northsouthconnection.com. All the video and audio content that we provide is listed there. So if you just go there, you'll find everything. Just subscribe as well. I mean, just subscribe to the YouTube feed. You get notified of all the videos that go live. If you subscribe on any podcatcher app to North South Connection, you'll get all the audio as well. Keith, you're on there pretty regularly, once a month at least, with Johnny C on the Multiverse of Insanity.
Fabulousness. Yeah. We actually recorded, we did video for our last one, so that's up on YouTube now.
Yes, you can check that on the YouTube channel.
Also,
So, and you're on your guest spot all over the place as well.
I'm all over the place. So
he's everywhere. And you know me and Aaron, we're on everything too. So
I'm whoring myself out.
All right. We're going to wrap up. We'll be back soon with episode 3. We'll continue our trek through Seinfeld. If you have any thoughts or feedback, comments, notes, I'll give a quick shout out to our buddy Steve Bennett. He listened to the first episode and then put a cool little story that I think it's from like the NBC book about the back and forth like Howard Stern and Jerry Seinfeld had when Jerry would go on the Stern show. So that if you want to read that story, it's on the YouTube channel, the comments of the first episode. So I appreciate Steve taking a minute to share that. But be sure to leave any comments, any feedback, anything we can do different for you. Till then, take care. Boom, 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 boom.
Don't sing it. We'll get a strike.